In the days when the children of Israel groaned under the heavy yoke of Egypt, the sun rose over the Nile to reveal a land of splendor and oppression, golden temples and statues of gods glittering in the light, while in the fields Hebrew slaves bent low beneath the crack of whips. Pharaoh, fearing the growing strength of the Israelites, had decreed a cruel command. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be cast into the Nile, though his breath snuffed out before it could become a cry of defiance. Amid this darkness, in the humble home of a Levite couple, Amram and Jochebed, a child was born, a boy whose face shone with a beauty and presence that seemed to defy despair. The moment Jochebed held him in her arms, something stirred deep within her spirit, a certainty that God's hand was upon this child. His life was not meant for the river's grave, but for a purpose far beyond their understanding. For 3 months, she hid him in the shadows of their home, muffling his cries with gentle hands, watching the door at every sound of footsteps, her heart pounding whenever Egyptian soldiers passed. Yet a growing child cannot remain hidden forever. The danger grew with each passing day, and Jochebed knew that her love alone could not protect him. Only the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob could. So with trembling faith, she prepared a plan born of desperation and divine trust. Taking reeds from the Nile's edge, she wove a small ark, coating it with pitch and tar to keep out the water, its rough frame made smooth by the touch of a mother's hands. Placing the baby inside, wrapped in soft linen, she carried the basket to the riverbank, her steps heavy with grief and hope. The Nile's waters glistened like molten gold under the morning sun, yet they were the very waters that Pharaoh had meant for death. Now, in God's mystery, they would become the path to life. Setting the basket among the reeds, she let the current take him, her fingers lingering on its edge until it drifted beyond her reach, tears blurring her sight. Hiding nearby was Miriam, the child's sister, her young eyes sharp with courage, as she watched to see what would become of her brother. Downstream, the sound of laughter and splashing broke the river's stillness. Pharaoh's own daughter had come to bathe, her servants attending her. As they walked along the bank, their eyes caught sight of the small basket nestled among the reeds. Curiosity drew the princess closer. She opened the ark, and there, swaddled and crying, was the Hebrew child. Cries pierced her heart. And though she recognized him as one of the condemned children of the slaves, compassion overcame decree. "This is one of the Hebrews' children," she said softly, yet her voice held no malice. Miriam, quick and clever, stepped forward from her hiding place and spoke with respectful boldness. "Shall I go and call a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" The princess agreed, and by God's providence, Miriam brought none other than the child's own mother. In a twist that only the Almighty could design, the one who had wept as she let her son go, now held him again in her arms, this time under the protection of the royal household. Pharaoh's daughter commanded, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So Jochebed cared for her son openly, watching him grow until the day came when she brought him to the palace. There, Pharaoh's daughter adopted him as her own, naming him Moses, saying, "Because I drew him out of the water." Yet even in the splendor of Egypt's courts, clothed in fine linen and educated in the wisdom of the Egyptians, the unseen hand of God was upon him, guiding his steps toward the destiny for which he had been preserved, the deliverance of Israel from bondage. In this way, the river meant for destruction became a channel of salvation, and the decree of death became the backdrop for the unfolding of God's redemptive plan, reminding all generations that his purposes are never thwarted, even in the face of the mightiest kings.